economic issue, usually defined in terms of positive rights, demanding action by the state as opposed to reconciling the fundamental rights. But the DPSP has been top tax faced by every government since in the Champakan Dorairajan case. Fundamental right could be amended by Parliament. Fundamental rights could be amended by enacting Constitutional Amendment Act. Fundamental and the duty principle. The former would prevail. As a result, the Parliament made the First Amendment Act. The Fourth Amendment Act of 1955. Fourth Amendment Act 1955. First Amendment of 1951. Seventh Amendment implement some directives. The Goloknath case in 1967, Supreme Court ruled that fundamental rights, which is sacrosanct in nature, cannot be amended for the implementation of the relative principles. In Goloknath case, Supreme Court ruled that the fundamental rights, which are sacrosanct, Parliament reacted by enacting. The Supreme Court ruled that fundamental rights, which are sacrosanct nature. गोलकनाथ कैसे होची এটা প্রপার্টি গোলকনাথ कैसे केरल ना ये केसानंद भारती केरल এটা হচ্ছে পাঞ্জাব সেটা পাঞ্জাব cannot be amended for the implementation of the relative principles fundamental rights which are amended ହେଇପାରିବନି for the implemented of the relative principles ପାଇଁ parliament reacted by the enacting the 24th amendment of 1971 25th amendment 1971 The 24th Amendment declared that Parliament has the power to abridge take away any of the fundamental rights by the enacting Constitutional Amendment Act. 25th Amendment Act inserted 25th a new Article 31C. 25th Amendment, which contains provision related to saving of law giving effect to certain relative principles. Inserted a new Article 31C which contain provision related to saving of law, giving effect to certain relative principles. In Kesananda Bharati case 1973, the Supreme Court declared the above second provision of Article 31C as unconstitutional because judicial review is the basic feature of the Constitution. The Supreme Court declared the above second provision of the article unconstitutional. Supreme Court declared the above second provision. Judicial review is the basic feature of the Constitution. Hence cannot be taken away. However, the first provision of Article 31C was held to validity. 37. After the 42nd Amendment of 1976, extended the scope of above first provision of Article 31C by including within its protections any law to implement any of the relative principles against fundamental rights conferred by Articles 14, 19, and 31. Within its protections against fundamental rights conferred by Articles 14, Article 19, Article 31. However, the extension was declared as unconstitutional and invalid by the Supreme Court. In the Minerva Mill case 1980, it means that the relative principles were once again made subordinate to the fundamental rights. For the fundamental rights conferred by Article 14 and Article 19 were accepted as subordinate to the relative principle. 39B. At present, the position is the fundamental rights enjoy supremacy over the relative principles. Fundamental rights enjoy supremacy over the relative principle. But the Parliament can amend the fundamental rights for implementing the relative principles. Implement the relative principles so long as to conform to the basic structure of Constitution. The position is the fundamental rights enjoy supremacy over the relative principle, but the Parliament can amend the fundamental rights for the implementing the relative principles so long as to conform to the basic structure of the Constitution. Basic structure of the Constitution.